Okay guys, a new update really quick. This will probably be a short update, but I wanted to show something here. And oh my gosh, where's the floor? Where's the ground? Where is everything? Let's run this. And abracadabra. Ta-da! So I bet you're wondering, where did all this come from? Well, let me show you. And you're probably wondering, who's this blue guy? Well, I will show you in just a second. So what happened to the floor? Well, I started creating the basics of what I'm gonna do for the mapping system. If you look over here, you'll notice I have some basic structures here. I have something called a ceiling, I have something called a floor, and then I have wall, west, south, east, and north. And you know, these are all quads. These are just quads with a preset texture. And this texture is just, I have it in the materials folder right down here. I have two textures here. So what am I doing here? How am I creating this? Well, I actually have a new game object in here, right here, called the creator. And all it has, it's just a simple object, invisible object that has one script called create map. Create map is in here. And what it does is it instantiates those six items I showed. We have the floor, ceiling, and the four walls, and it basically just grabs all of those. And then down here in the update, pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just making copies of those at different sizes and different heights. So as you can see here, I have several calls to a function called create block. Create block down here, what it does is it takes in the object. So whether you want to create a floor, create a ceiling, or a different facing wall, you plug in the object, you plug in the texture. I haven't quite got that yet. I haven't quite got custom textures yet. You plug in where you want it to be, the X, Y, and Z position, and then how big and how wide you want it, width and the height. And basically what it does is it just instantiates a new version of that, puts it in the position, and then scales it to wherever, to whatever you want. And right here I call it a few times. I call it once for the floor, where I plug in all the numbers here to put it, in that position. I create the ceiling, which is, as you can see, I think this is the Y position, so you can see the floor is at 10. Down here I do times 2 at the position, so 10 is actually at 20, and then 14 is actually 14 times 2, 28. And then I have the walls here, where I'm sure you can do the math yourself for these numbers, but I basically just surround the arena with walls, and that's what I'm doing there. And then once all that is created, I have here destroy game object, so it destroys itself after it's finished creating everything. And this is just the very beginning of what I'm going to do for the mapping structure. What I am planning on doing for this is I want to have it read from an external file. And the file is going to have all this data and all this information about where to place the different architecture and place the different objects and stuff. And what it's going to do is it's going to go through and read that file line by line, and it's going to go through. For each line, it's going to say, create a floor here, create a wall here, create a ceiling here. And it's going to cycle through and it's going to create blocks depending on what's in that line. And to do this, to create this file, I mean, I'm not going to just sit here and write a big file that does all this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write another program that can generate that file. I'm going to write a rudimentary mapping program, kind of like a Doom Builder kind of thing, that will create this file, and this file is going to generate the instructions for this creator object, and then it will go through, like, I will have like a for loop here that says like for each in the file, and then it'll go through and say, let's see, it'll parse it out. Actually, I'm gonna have, say, I'll probably have two variables, a tag and a value. So the tags will just be like X position, Y position, Z position, and then the value will be the actual value. So the tag would be X, and then the value would be 25 or whatever. So I would go through and I would say, I'm just writing pseudocode right here. So I'll say if the tag equals X. Oops. Ugh. My God. Okay. If the tag is X, then I would say, what would I say? Well, actually, no. I wouldn't just do X. I would do like position, and then I would say, create block, and then do that. Or if I would say if tag equals monster soldier, so for the soldier guy, and I would say, create new soldier at this position. That's what I'm trying to do here. So, but there was a problem with this, in that if you were to, I'll just show you really quick. If I were to just create, it went way over here for some reason. If I were to just create a quad, and I throw a texture on there, and I try to, say, expand it, so like this, as you can see, the texture stretches with it, and see that looks really ugly. So how did I fix that? How do I make it actually tile instead of stretch like that? Well, the answer is the internet. I put a script on here. It's called auto tile texture. It just lets me, these two variables will let me punch it in. This script, I have it right here. I got it all off the internet. Somebody else wrote a script for auto tiling quads. That's what I'm going to use to build the maps, by the way, or quads. And I didn't write any of this, so I can't really go through and explain it. Basically, from what I can tell, it tiles the quads instead of stretching the textures, which honestly that's really stupid on Unity's part, that it doesn't just tile. You don't have an option to tile blocks like that. That should be something that came with Unity, being able to tile. It'll let you tile like right here, but it's hard. Again, it's hard coded. So if you're stretching an object around, the texture is going to stretch. I wish Unity would have something built in that would auto tile things. But oh well, I found a solution. Now you notice I also added a new enemy, the SS soldier. I'll go ahead and show him in action, and then I'll talk about him a little bit. Let's wake him up here. He's gonna walk into the soldier. If you notice, he's basically just like the soldier, except he shoots 4 instead of 1. Oh, okay. See, basically the same kind of behavior as in Wolfenstein. And we can gun him down right there. He doesn't say "Mein Leben" yet. He just has the Quake sound effect right now, just like this guy. They both have the same. These guys out for good measure. This guy doesn't wake up when you shoot him. That's something I have to work on. And then these here, of course. Oh, here's the basic ones. I need to make it so that these get deleted whenever you whenever the map starts. Alright, so about this SS guy. Let me pull up the scripts here. SS behavior. So this is all... Oh my god, did I not... I didn't zoom. I should have had it zoomed in. Okay, I'm just gonna zoom in and show you really quick. Oh my god, why is it going so slow? What happened? Okay. Anyway, this is where I'm pulling those 6 objects: floor, ceiling, the walls. Here's the function create block. You can see I'm just instantiating a new game object and setting the position and the width and the height, or the scale, it's called here. And then I call it a few times to create the floor, ceiling, and the walls. And then destroy game object, which destroys itself. That's what I'm doing. So, yeah, this is all the same as the soldier. The only thing's different is the shooting here, where if you remember on the last one he only shoots once. Well, this is different. So for the shooting 4 times, what I did here was I added an animation that was basically just one long animation with 4 repeating frames. So as you can see here, 47, 48, 47, 48, 47, 48. That's his shooting. The 4 shooting frames. And then up here I play the animation. And I say, I don't know if I showed this or not, I added a new function in the sprite animator called onFrame. What this does is it returns true if it's on a specific frame. I don't think I need to show it because it's not anything special, but basically all it does is it says if it's on this frame, then return true, or else return false. That's all it is. So this is, I said frame 2. Now the frame counting starts at 0, so this is actually frame 0, and then 1, and then 2. 48 is the gun firing frame, and then 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8, which is what I'm doing here. If it's on any of these frames, then shoot. I call the shoot function here in damage controller, which you saw before, so I don't have to show that. And then I say once it's over, just restore. Just go back to normal. And then of course, as you saw, the end result. We can get them all to wake up. And he'll shoot. He'll even... fight those monsters, and they'll attack each other here. Oh my god, that guy's moonwalking. What is he doing? I don't know why they do that either. Sometimes they get stuck in place. That's something else I gotta look into. Look at that. Silly. Alright. That's all I have to show right now. So, like I said, this is a quick update. But, I'll work on it more later. So, bye-bye.